Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another Turning Tuesday. This week we're going to be having a go with the Spindle Gouge, maybe put a few different grinds in it and just see what happens, hopefully resulting in less catches this time. Let's go. So before we get started, can I just say thank you so much for the warm reception you guys have given this series. It is quite nice being able to learn something on camera as opposed to teach things. I thought the series would get a lot more flack than it did, so thank you for that. I have been reading your comments, your suggestions, whatever. I've taken the corners off the block before putting it on the lathe this time because that will probably make the job a bit easier. You know, just thank you very much for the initial support. I hope I can live up to it. Damn, this doesn't actually fit between the centres. I need a bigger lathe. So I'm very much aware that I started with the deep end when I started with the skew last week. I always knew it was the most difficult tool. I just thought I thought I would challenge myself. But I've been watching a few videos on the Spindle Gouge last night doing my weekly revision, and it's a lot more versatile than I thought it would be. I didn't realise that you could cut beads and things so easily with it. I thought that was kind of limited to the skew, but no, apparently you can cut beads with the Spindle Gouge, but you just can't get as acute of an angle in the bottom unless you grind this to a really acute angle. But yeah, I always thought this thing was just for cutting coves and stuff, but there we go. So let's get this bit of wood mounted. Where did I put the things there? All right. You notice that I've also sorted out the lighting situation as well. Not entirely sure why I hung that blanket there last time. Thought it'd make a nice backdrop, but it just completely blocked out all this lovely natural light I've got. But there we go. Right, let's get this roughed down and take the magnet thing off there, or else that would have flied at my face, and take this thing out as well. Okay, that's a good start. I had a quick go with the skew just to make sure I still had it after last week, which I do. That's all good. Yeah, I still haven't got myself a smock, and I decided to wear my usual colour of black again today. Yep, I made a right old, it was such a mess in my house. I think I need a compressor and air hose, don't I? Just all over me. Okay. Spindle gouge time. So as I said earlier, one thing I didn't realise you could do with a spindle gouge was cutting beads, because I didn't realise you could go in like that with the tool at 90 degrees to the tool rest. I thought this thing would just have to stay straight, maybe angle it a bit if you wanted to do like long cuts like you would do with the roughing gouge. I thought this tool was just for doing that, but apparently you can get this thing at 90 degrees on the tool rest. But apparently if you have it slightly off 90 degrees, then it causes it to just shoot along the work. So now I know that's going to happen, I'm just going to have a quick go with it and just sort of plunge in at 90 degrees, see how it feels, and then I'm actually just going to cause a little bit of a catch and I'll be prepared for it. I'm going to have the tool going away from me as opposed to towards me. Yeah, I just want to sort of have a go and see what it feels like intentionally, so that when it happens unintentionally, I might not brown my pants. Woo! That's actually not too bad of a catch, to be honest. It's quite a nice one. It just rolls along. It's like you're thread cutting on it. Okay, so that's not as scary as I thought it would be. And the lathe is running pretty fast. Thank you to your suggestions in the last video as well for telling me to turn up the speed. That has also helped. I was a bit scared to start with, not gonna lie. All right, so I've made a mess. I'm gonna clean this up with the skew, and then I'll have a go at doing some stuff on here. Okay, so apparently a lot of this tool is just about rolling it. So if I wanted to cut a bead and this was like the deep bit of it, This would be the peak here, and then you just like roll it round the bead into the bottom like that. So you can see that the top of this being 45 degrees, I could only get an angle of 90 degrees in there. If this was ground slightly steeper, then I'll be able to get in deeper, but you know, yeah. So it's just about rolling it, apparently. I am gonna have a go at cutting a cove to begin with, and then I'll have a go at cutting a bead, I think. Yeah, let's go for that. Damn, that is fun. That just like, it just rides the bevel all the way in. Oh, that's hot. Happy days. Right, I am going to do, let's make this bit a bead. I'm going to see if I can make that like more acute in there, I think. Not bad. I think I might do another one though. I think this has kind of lost its roundness now. I want to get that a consistent curve. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I am starting to see the limitations of having this ground at 45 degrees. I feel like I would much prefer it to be at 30 degrees, but given my inexperience, I don't know if that's because I started things off with the skew chisel, where is it? There. And with this thing last week, I was able to get right down into the bottom of these beads and create a really, really nice sort of point in there. However, with this spindle gouge, I don't know, it's just not getting in there, because at the moment, the way I'm seeing this is if I grind this to 30 degrees, then I'll be able to do everything that I've done here, but also be able to get into there. I'm just struggling to see the reason why you would have 45 degrees as opposed to 30. Not really sure. So in the comment section below, if you have any experience using the 45 degree, or you know, actually any experience at all with a spindle gouge, then let me know your opinions on the difference between a 30 degree and a 45 degree. What are their pros, what are their cons, you know, just any little thing, because yeah, I'm not sure actually. I think I'm gonna grind this and see what it's like at 30 degrees. And those of you asking how I sharpen these wood turning tools, as a lot of you know, I have a Toolbox sitting behind me on the workbench. I'm using that. I bought all the jigs to do it, so I am a little bit spoilt for choice when it comes to sharpening these tools. I can get them absolutely razor sharp off this. Further down the line, I would like to do a comparison between the Toolmech, maybe the True Grind, and some other jigs that I've heard of through the grapevine. Obviously, it won't be an expert's opinion on them, but as a novice, I don't know, there might be some valuable advice in there somewhere. So just to give you a quick rundown of how I'm doing this, the Toolmech comes with this turning tool setter, which on it has various like bowl gouges. It's got spindle gouges down here, straight edge skews, radius skews, and this jig allows you to set those up in the jigs provided with the Toolmech. So far, I've been using the 45 degree setting on the spindle gouge with JS2, which means jig setting 2. That is the angle on this thing. You loosen the screw on this side, and then that allows you to angle the head, and I want that on jig setting 2. P stands for protrusion, so this needs to stick out 65. So all you do is put the gouge into the jig, flip this over, hook it over the corner of your workbench, and then the tool comes up through, hits the 65mm stop, slide the tool up to hit the edge of the turning tool setter, and then the final thing is hole A. We've got hole A here. So you put the bar through hole A, and then that hits the wheel. You can see I've already got this bar set up, but yeah, you adjust that and both those wheels should spin. There you go, when you got it spot on. And that should be the jig set up in there. So as I said, I have been at Axminster for 5 years. I know how all this stuff works. I know how to sharpen these tools, but as I said in the previous video, in terms of using them, No idea. But there we go, that is now at 45 degrees on the stone. So I'm going to get this set up for the 30-degree reading on here. So I've just got to change the protrusion and the hole. The jig setting stays the same apparently. There you go, protrusion 55, spindle gouge hole B. Slide that through there, slide that up to hit it, and then move that back, and then check the wheels both spin. Sorted. 30 degrees apparently. Ooh. Right, it's going to take a bit of grinding. Okay, that looks very different. It's a completely different shape, very swept back now. I actually rolled it over a lot more than what I did when I sharpened this for the first time. Now it's kind of got a bowl gouge look to it. Well, it doesn't really, but I'm still not massively sure on the difference, but that is at 30 degrees now. It is lovely and sharp. That is just, yeah. Whew. So let's have a go with that and see if I've written off this beautiful tool. Whoa! Okay, I had a few catches there, but I've managed to clean up most of them. That was just me being careless. I just rolled the tool stupidly and it just shot along like that. The 30 degrees is interesting because it is lovely when I'm riding down into these coves and cutting into the beads. You can get pretty acute in there. The only thing I am noticing about it, which is probably just going to take a bit of practice, is when entering the cut. It's quite bitey. It's like cutting nothing, then all of a sudden it's just like there's loads taken off. I think it's just going to take a little bit of care on my part, but yeah, I think that's much better. I prefer that, to be honest. All right, so I've just freshly resharpened my tools and I'm just going to give myself a quick test. I'm going to rough this down, get it completely round, and then first I'm going to get the skew chisel on it and see if I can get a constant diameter around the whole thing. I'll be measuring that with calipers, and then I'm going to do, I don't know, maybe a bead, cove, bead, cove, bead, cove, bead, maybe? I don't know. I'll see how many I fit on there, but yeah, I'm going to see if I can get them looking consistent. Yeah, and just, it's going to be a test for myself. Let's see what we can do. Okay, that is accurate to within about 0.5 mil, I think. Yeah, like there's a few small high spots on there, but that's pretty good. Now I need to mark the location for the coves and beads, and I'm gonna have a go with both the spindle gouge and the skew chisel to see if I still got it. Okay, so I've actually got no idea how to mark this out because, to be honest, and at this point my microphone cut out because I've been standing at the lathe for so long. But what I was saying is, my designs in furniture and up until this point have never included turned components, and thus I actually have no idea what looks good when you turn it. I know what a bead is, I know what a cove is, but using them together, where do you start with that? No idea at all. So what I did was take the design from one end of my practice component, which included a cove, a half bead type thing and a bead, and laid that out on the component that was spinning on the lathe across the entire length and started hacking away at it. Right, I think I'm going to call it there. A few bits where I was just a bit stupid, wasn't looking at what I was doing, just went bang with the spindle gouge. Small catches with the skew, but otherwise it feels pretty smooth. It looks relatively even. To be honest, I wasn't really looking. Yeah, well, actually that's quite thick compared to that. I wasn't really looking for it to be even in the end. I was just kind of trying to get the shape there in general. But yeah, I did manage to get some pretty crisp points on it. Never mind that one. It's looking all right. So I'm going to call it there for Turning Tuesday this week. Of course, if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback at all on the series, then be sure to chuck it in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to support my channel, please visit the link in the description to Patreon. You can pledge whatever you want. But yeah, your support would be hugely appreciated. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.